Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. It is Town of Old Saybrook night tonight on the Pete Mezzetti Show, and with me to discuss everything that's going on in the Town of Old Saybrook is the illustrious, honorable First Selectman of the Town of Old Saybrook, Carl Fortuna.
That was pretty good.
Hello, Mr. Fortuna.
So I think
What?
every day and every night should be Old Saybrook night. That's what I think. In any town.
In any town?
Yeah.
Should we have the legislature pass that?
Yeah. There's a very small chance that would happen.
Yes, probably. Should we get Joe DeLong?
So you have, and by the way, you have Joe DeLong, who's president of CCM or CEO of CCM. Mm-hmm. You have him as a guest coming up.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yeah. A lot of the folks out there probably don't even know what CCM is. I mean,
we do.
The Connecticut Conference of Municipalities.
Right.
And they represent 100, there's 169 towns in the state of Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And about 168 towns pay dues to CCM to represent them in the state legislature.
Right.
And what they do is they lobby for us, and they do a wonderful job. Mm-hmm. They lobby against bad bills.
Yes.
Because guess what? Our legislature is very capable of passing a lot of bad bills. And every session, I cross my fingers and pray that they don't do certain things. Right. This isn't exactly how I was going to start off the show.
But that's okay.
The car tax.
Yes.
So they want to get rid of the car tax, by the way, which is a noble thing to try to do, because I think we all want to get rid of the car tax. So the car tax, Pete, is not a huge amount of revenue to the towns, but it's substantial. Okay. So it's not like they can say, hey, no more car tax, figure it out, towns. Well, the towns would simply have to tax houses more. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can't just get rid of the car tax. For the town of Old Saybrook, it's about $1.2 million a year. Okay. And for people to say to the town of Old Saybrook, get rid of $1.2 million, you're not going to have it anymore. That's a big deal, right? However, the car tax is an incredible nuisance for the tax assessors. Right. Because every year they have to go through every car and figure out the value of that car and then appropriately tax it based on the mill rate. It is an incredibly laborious tax for the amount of money it brings into the towns. Right. So I am all in favor of getting rid of the car tax. There's no great way to do that, but the legislature, mark my words, is going to get rid of the car tax sometime in the next 5 years. And what they're probably going to do, and it's really the simplest, most elegant solution, is to just tax homes more. Okay. And that's where the tax is going to fall. So instead of paying $5,000 on your house and $400 for your car, you're going to pay $5,400 on your house. All right. And that's what's going to happen. And then it's going to make it a little bit easier for our tax assessors, and they should have a little bit more time in their office, right? Yes. I mean, they're not going to be trying to figure out the value of 10,000 vehicles in the town of Old Saybrook. It's kind of crazy. By the way, nice setup.
Thank you.
This is new.
This is new.
And it's really nice. I love it.
Thank you.
A couple things.
Yeah.
By the time this show airs, hopefully the Yukon Huskies will be champions.
Yes.
So I know that it's too soon. We're taping this on Monday, April 8th. Yeah. The game is tonight. Yeah. Yes. I'll probably be fast asleep by halftime.
Probably.
Yeah, it's awful, but it's a story of my life.
Tough getting old, isn't it?
But anyway, go Huskies. Yeah.
Exactly. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies. Too bad the girls got beat. And happy spring.
Yes.
Pete, right?
Absolutely. Happy spring, Carl.
I mean, this is like the first week we're actually seeing some decent weather. Yeah. And the eclipse was today.
I was going to say, we saw a solar eclipse today, too.
So did you see the eclipse? Did you?
I did.
You did? Okay. Did. What'd you think?
Pretty cool.
I thought it was underwhelming. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, okay, it got a little darker and a little cooler, but that's what happens when it gets dark at night every day. So, but anyway, it was fun. Fun day.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
We talked, when you were talking about the car tax, obviously in the mill rate, you talked about the mill rate when you mentioned the car tax. Doesn't the mill rate change every year, or is that the grand list that
Well,
changes
so the mill
every
rate
year?
typically does change every year.
Okay.
But we do a revaluation of all the property in
Yes.
town every 5 years. And
Okay.
funny you bring it up.
Didn't you guys just reveal?
Maybe you knew. Our reval was done October 1 of 2023, and it is effective for this coming tax year.
Okay.
So based on the budget that we have passed through the Board of Finance, the mill rate is probably going to go from 20.48 to like 15.1. So it's going to go way down.
It's going to go down.
You know, so I've been first selectman now for 12 and a half years. So when I first took office, the mill rate was 13 and change. Right now, it's the highest it's been under my administration,
Really?
20.48.
Cool.
Now it's going to go down to 15.
It's going to go down.
And under the prior first selectman, it got as high as 24. The mill rate got as high as 24.
Wow.
But then in the 2008 revaluation, which was a total bubble, it went down to like 11. And then it started going up again. Look, all that matters is what is the value of your property. And if you have a high value property, you're probably going to take on more of the tax burden in your town.
Right.
So the houses in Old Saybrook, in Fenwick,
Yeah.
other houses on the water, other houses in the center of town,
Okay.
and other locations where people seem to be looking to live more, they take on a higher valuation and they take on a higher burden of the tax.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's kind of how it works. So we have a lot going on right now, a lot.
Yeah.
We have, right now, Pete, they just started construction on our Main Street connector park. And you know where our pickleball courts are?
Yes.
Okay, so right across from the Cape, we have a parking lot, we have pickleball courts.
Yes.
If you look beyond that, you see the police station.
Yes.
Which is on Lind Street.
Right.
So there's a pocket right in the middle, a pocket of land.
Okay.
It's 1.3 acres. We received a state grant and the town kicked in some money. It's about a $600,000 project.
Okay.
And we are going to make that a lovely park with 2 bocce courts. How's your bocce game?
It's okay.
You're going down, okay? Because we're going to play.
Are you and I going to
Yeah.
play? All right.
And, you know, it may involve beer. I don't know. But
I was gonna say you play pickleball too?
I have played pickleball.
I've never played, so.
You know, the Chamber of Old Saybrook is actually...
Yes, they
and,
are.
you know, maybe you can pull this up for the viewers.
Right.
They're, for businesses,
Right.
they're doing a pickleball tournament.
Yes, they are. I
think
saw
it's May
something.
5th.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get a little team in Town Hall. So I'd encourage any businesses that are watching
Right.
the show to
get-
make sure they sign up for the pickleball tournament.
All right.
But anyway, we're doing a park back there. And what you're going to be able to do is walk from Main Street to Lynn Street.
Okay.
Or from Lynn Street to Main
Main
Street.
Street.
We're going to have 2 bocce courts, like I said, a sidewalk that connects, and just a lot of green open space. It's going to be a passive park, and it's just more downtown space for people to enjoy. There you have it.
Okay.
You know, I hope we have some time
Go.
before the break.
Keep going.
So one of the things that's happened over the last 2 months is we had the unfortunate death of a gentleman named David Brown. David Brown was a farmer in town.
Okay.
Okay? And about 25 years ago, he purchased 12 and a half acres of land.
I think we're going to take a look at the map.
On Ingham Hill Road, I hope so.
Right.
On
Can
Ingham Hill
we
Road.
bring that up, please?
And
Here we go.
yep, there it is. And that's 12 and a half acres. The property, and you can see Ingham Hill Road there, and the property that abuts the blue line on both the right and the left is town property. And if you continue to go towards your side of the screen, Pete,
Right.
you will end up in Clark Park, which is Clark Community Park, which is Town Park. So this piece of land will help us connect from Ingham Hill Road to Schoolhouse Road.
Okay.
In addition to that, if we look on the bottom of the screen and you
Okay.
look at something called Lake Rockview,
Right.
okay? That big lake right there. Barbara Maynard who was the first selectman in our town for 16 years, when I first took office, she said, you need to find a way to get our residents to be able to use Lake Rockview. Lake Rockview is a quarry. It was dug out when they were building the Baldwin Bridge.
All right.
And now it's a lake, really good bass fishing.
Real.
We own it, but there's no good access to it. And by getting this piece of land, we're going to be able to have a small parking area and a pathway so that people can enjoy Lake Rockview and go fishing, maybe do a little kayaking. Again, relatively passive recreation. So what's happened so far is the Board of Selectmen has approved the purchase.
Okay.
I've notified the seller's attorney. I've done a title search on the property. It goes to the Board of Finance next Tuesday. The purchase price is $93,555 because we have a right of first refusal on the property, and it was built into the deed 25 years ago. So we have every intention of acquiring this property. A unique aspect of this property, there is a religious temple on it. So David Brown cherished the Buddhist religion.
Okay.
And there is a stupa on the property. And a stupa is a Buddhist monument, and they pray at the stupa. So the town, of course, has every intention of honoring that religious symbol. Because it is an attraction all along the shoreline for people to come and go to the stupa. But it's a very small part. In fact, the stupa is that little white dot right in the middle of that property.
Okay.
So there's plenty of other land for our residents to enjoy. It will be acquired as open space, and our Parks and Rec department is the one department that is the controller, the overseer of open space. So once we acquire the property, it will be Park and Rec property, and Park and Rec will hold probably some public hearings to determine what else we want to do with that property.
Okay.
But unfortunately, David Brown passed away. But we can honor his memory, I think, by having the town acquire the property and preserve everything he loved about that property. So that's a really great opportunity for the town.
Awesome.
So
hold on.
Yeah?
Would you mind sticking around?
Is it time for a break?
It is time for a break.
If it's time for a break, I'll stick around.
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
Please, give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job.
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please.
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
Move over.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter. And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support and uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with the illustrious first selectman of the town of Old Saybrook, the Honorable Carl Fortuna.
Oh my God. You're trying to get on my good side.
I am trying to get on you.
I would say the Honorable Pete Mezzetti. You've been doing this for how long?
Almost 20 years.
Oh my God.
I know.
20 years, really?
Oof.
I know you were on the radio too at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
What were you doing on the radio? Just a
It's
show?
it's basically the same thing.
Interviewing?
Yeah,
And how long have you been on cable TV?
20 years.
Wow.
It actually first started with Comcast in Clinton.
Yeah.
And
yeah, okay.
You remember that?
I remember Comcast in Clinton. I don't think
You don't know the story?
No, I don't.
No?
Tell me the story.
Well, hold on a
Please.
sec. I'll tell you the story. About 20 years ago, Comcast in Clinton was the public access outlet.
Right.
And my mom was on the Board of Selectmen in Clinton.
Yeah.
I ran over to drop something off to the public access studio across the street,
Right.
in downtown. Knocked on the door, handed the envelope to the gentleman. Come to find out, he was the public access coordinator.
Wow.
He was like, "Oh, we don't have a public access show for Clinton in the system." I'm like, "Okay." So ran across the street. My mom was on the board of selectmen. Willie Fritz.
Willie Fritz?
You know Willie?
Willie was there forever.
Yeah, Willie was the first selectman at the time. Yeah. So I'm sitting in his office talking to him about this project, and he's like, comes around his desk, shakes my hand, "Congratulations, it's yours."
Yeah.
Our first show together, the first edition of the Pete Mezzetti show, was the budget for the town of Clinton when Willie was first selected.
Yeah,
and
sure, why not?
The rest is history.
Yeah. I mean, how times have changed. I mean,
Yes.
this studio is beautiful
Yes.
that you have here. I mean,
Absolutely.
and I've been here, I've seen changes, and everything is so professionally done.
Right,
here.
it is.
I mean, the graphics, the lighting, it's just, it's a terrific studio, and you guys do a great job.
Thank you. It's
So,
a very, very classy operation. Wow.
so this Friday,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I mention this. This Friday is the Rotary event.
Okay.
The Old Saybrook, I think it's the Old Saybrook Old Lyme Rotary.
Okay.
Is having their annual fundraiser at Saybrook Point Inn,
Oh, right.
down at the Point. It's about $50 a head,
Okay.
but they have awesome prizes. They have awesome silent auction
okay.
items. It is one of the most well-attended events I go to all year long, and it's really fun. And
I've never been. I might have to.
So the Rotary Club does an amazing job. The Rotary Club is there when we have a project that they're interested in. They're like, "How can we help? We're willing to help with money. We're willing to help raise money." And they do so many other things for the community. So I want to give the Rotary Club a really good
A plug?
a really good plug.
Okay.
The other thing that should be mentioned,
Yeah.
and it's not, I don't know that it's for public consumption, but the Old Saybrook Historical Society is having their annual award to a person who preserves history in our town. And this year they're giving it to Steve Tagliatella, who is the owner of Saybrook Point.
Saybrook Point.
And Steve has done so much in our town, number one,
Right.
in terms of giving back. Steve also is very concerned with the environment. He runs a green facility for the most part down there. They recycle a lot of the water, and I mean, it's an amazing operation down there. So the Old Saybrook Historical Society is giving their annual Person of the Year from a historical preservation perspective
To Steve.
Tagliatella. That's Thursday night, and it's at Saybrook Point Inn, obviously. But I want to mention that, not necessarily to encourage people to go,
Right.
but just to give a shout out, number one, to our Historical Society.
Right.
They do an amazing job.
Yeah.
And Steve Tagliatella, who is a very important person in our community.
Yes.
And he does a wonderful job down there.
Does he?
So, yeah, he does. Listen, I was there for a fundraiser last Wednesday night, and the staff is excellent, the food is excellent. You go out to dinner there. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. I don't know when the last time you were down there.
Believe it or not, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, all of the people that I've met in the world, I've never met Steve.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We will have to
Make that
introduce
happen?
you. If you go to the Rotary event, there's no doubt he'll be there. So
And if I go to the Rotary event, there's probably no doubt you're going to be there too.
I'll be there too.
All right,
But I'll be able to introduce you to Steve.
Okay.
And maybe some other people you might find interesting for your show.
Cool.
Couple other things going on. Our American Rescue Plan activity, our American Rescue Plan Fund
ARPA.
subcommittee.
Okay.
So, as you know, the American Rescue Plan was, I think, March of 2021.
Sure.
And the town of Old Saybrook received $3 million. And we had until the end of 2024 to fully allocate $3 million. So in other words, we had to decide.
Spend it.
not spend it. We had to
Allocate.
allocate
You
it.
had to
We
allocate.
We had to choose the projects. And I kept thinking over the years, oh, that's forever. 2024, 2000. Well, here we are. We're in 2024. So they have mostly allocated their dollars, and I would love to tell the public how they recently allocated funding, $500,000 to. We are going to form a housing task force, and we are going to budget $500,000 for that housing task force to try to find ways to encourage affordable housing, attainable housing, workforce housing, alternative housing, whatever you want to call it. But we want to be very proactive in our efforts to diversify our housing supply. Old Saybrook is a town of 5,000 plus single family homes. We need more apartments. We need more housing options to get younger people or even older people who want to transition out of their home into a smaller space. We need to give housing options. So we did an affordable housing plan in 2021.
Okay.
And the state required us to do that. And part of that plan was to have a housing task force.
Okay.
And this is Old Saybrook making a statement that we are in the business of trying to encourage and attract developers to diversify our housing base.
Okay.
Okay? One of the other projects we want to work on is we applied for a trails grant down by Saybrook Point.
Okay, sure.
So you know where the former Dock and Dine property is?
I do.
Well, we have secured a permanent easement from the owner of that property to be able to walk, have a river walk.
Oh, cool.
Okay? So that river walk would be one of the longest river walks, probably in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
So it'll go from the former Dock and Dine property all the way to Fenwick.
Wow.
So it'll be like a mile of walking along the river. It's absolutely amazing. And so what we want to do, the seawall along the river walk is collapsing. So we need to fix the seawall. So the ARPA funding that we received is going to contribute to us fixing that seawall.
Now, once it's fixed, can you ride skateboards on it?
You know, Pete, why do you ask such a question? Do you want to ride a skateboard on the walk? If you do,
No.
That's okay.
I don't. I'm just asking for the general public.
Okay. So the answer is, of course, kids will ride skateboards on it.
Yes.
But it's meant to be public access to the water.
Right.
For those that don't have access to the water, this will be tremendous public access to the water. We put $100,000 aside for our library. Our library is doing a $5 million renovation.
Okay.
And this was a donation to help the infrastructure of that project get off the ground.
Okay.
Do you have a question about the Acton Public Library?
No.
Have you had Amanda on?
I have not yet.
Oh my God, you should have Amanda.
I should have Amanda on?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll come on with Amanda.
Okay.
For a show.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. I do want to let you know that I am very impressed with the town of Old Saybrook.
In what way?
In the way I saw in the paper the other day what Matt Puglisi is doing.
Oh.
That's very generous of him.
Yeah, well, he has no choice.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's one of those.
By the way,
yes.
Back up.
Let's back up.
It is, instead of giving it back to the town,
yes,
we don't need the money. It's $6,000 or something. It should definitely, and I love the fact that Matt is doing that.
It's $6,000.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Wow. But he can't take it because of his current state job.
Yeah. What's he doing?
He is, I'm going to get this wrong, Deputy Director of the Department of Economic and Community Development, okay, I believe.
CEDC.
DECD.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get that
Matt
wrong,
is
too.
an incredibly bright kid. I shouldn't say that. An incredibly bright man. I'm so old that I'm calling everybody a kid. He came up with the idea of donating the salary, which we fully support. And he's giving it to really important causes.
Organizations, right?
So yes, I want to commend Matt
Cool.
on that also.
Well, we got about 2 minutes, so what do we
Let's
wanna-
talk about
what do you
June
wanna talk?
23rd, our Celebrate Saybrook party.
Party.
So
And this year, Mezzetti's going to be at the party.
you better be at that party.
Because I'll tell you where I was last year. Last year for the party, I was at the local establishment that happens to purvey beer in the town of Westbrook.
Oh.
And they were an exhibitor at the party.
And they're going to be one this year too.
By the time my dad and I were at the
I remember
brewery,
you telling me this.
and we were there for a couple hours just sitting there hanging out. They must have called 6 or 8 times to have them come and restock them
With beer.
with their beverage
Yeah.
because they kept running out. I'm like,
So they all ran out.
That's crazy.
So we are 6 months ahead of where we were last year in terms of planning this.
okay.
We're going to have a ton of people this year. We're going to market this much better than we did last year. And last year was a huge success.
Yeah.
We have about 105 vendors this year.
Oh, wow.
We have about 30 food options for people.
Oof.
We have 26 food trucks. We have 5 bands. We have 2 on the main stage. And we're going to have at least 3 on the stage by Thimble Island Brewery.
Okay, downtown.
And they'll be open soon.
Right.
Looks like they're getting their liquor permit right now, so
Yeah, I saw
they'll
that.
be ready to fire out. We're going to have the National Guard has a climbing wall, so we're going to have a climbing wall there. We're going to have action sports there. So there's going to be tons of stuff for kids. We have a whole
Cool.
gaming area for kids.
Awesome.
And we have 5 or 6 beer and wine proprietors that
Okay.
are manufacturers of beer and wine. And it is going to be one heck of a party this year, June 23rd. Last year we did it from 1 to 6. This year it's going to be from 2 to 7. Try to get
Okay.
it out of the peak sunlight of the day.
Yeah.
It's
too hot.
It's the summer solstice, so the sun's going to be up regardless. Hopefully the sun will be out. It was very hot last year. We're hoping for a little bit less heat. But it's going to be a great party, so I hope to see everybody there.
Carl Fortuna, we're out of time.
That's it? Okay.
That's it.
Good
Thanks,
to see you.
bud.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Carl Fortuna, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.